Carolyn, I figured that I might give you some assistance, right? I see one of your supporters are in my comment section talking about slander and whatnot. And let me just be clear, right? If you're working at a school, you have a duty to then report abuse, correct? So therefore, if you're witnessing abuse all over the place and you're not reporting it, you are complicit, right? But just for your supporters, guess what I have? Guess what I have? Some stories. So we're going to read those. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the structure at the Family Foundation School, a sponsor is somebody that is almost like a counselor that you go to with like problems, but they have no license, right? Says, no need for me to say this privately either. He was my sponsor. He did help me cover up an embarrassing moment once, which I still appreciate. However, I'm strongly in the all staff are bastards camp. And he was definitely no exception. As I remember it, he was the one who thought it would be funny to arrange for a pile of senior members to sneak up from behind and smother and poke at me while I was in the corner, and then sent me to isolation when I got an arm loose and punched my way out. I still think those sick brainwashed kids would have suffocated me to death if I hadn't. He realized what he did was wrong, and I was literally defending myself, but he needed to punish me to make it look like I was the crazy one. I saw some hesitation in his eyes when he made the call, but he chose to punish the victim. My perception of him was he was at least partially mentally disabled up from cracking his head open when he dove into a headfirst shallow stream. I also got the sense that he had a lot of childhood trauma himself. I feel about as bad for him as I do the other kids that bullied me and other kids mercilessly. He really desperately wanted the senior member kids to like him and bought fancy coffee for the 18-year-olds and performed many push-ups for everyone. He's sitting in my friend requests now, having some corner time. Any staff member there that didn't quit once they realized what was happening and call CPS and or everyone's parents has no business whatsoever trying to save face now. I saw a comment on here about one staff member that apparently did that and Jim did not. That's one student. That's another. No need for me to be private. Jimmy definitely had a temper and had favorites. There was a lot of shit in class that made me feel uncomfortable and borderline creepy. The way certain people were spoken to was inappropriate as fuck. Now see, you may not be the staff member, right? So you don't have experience or know exactly what goes on inside that school, but I do, right? And staff does play favorites. So yes, he may have students that say that he's a good guy. However, what would a good guy have done? A good guy would have blown the whistle on the abuse that was happening inside that school. So please do not come on my page and talk to me about slander, okay? Because it should have been done 20 years ago, okay? So if you're doing it now, I don't have any sympathy. Like, I can totally understand how you want to separate from the allegations of sexual abuse now that it's highly publicized, right? However, what you cannot and will not do is invalidate the other types of abuse that had occurred at that school from its inception until the day it closed its doors, okay? You did not work at that school and did not know that there was abuse going on. Everybody knew. Nobody saved anybody. You just let it go, right? Not your problem. You're getting a paycheck. While students are abused, okay? While students are abused, almost 160 dead. Do you think that that's just coincidence? Because it's fucking not, right? So you can either tell the full story, monetization off, or don't talk about it at all.